Hello, my name is Marissa Slomich.
Hi, my name is Emily Yang. Today we will be talking to you about uh, the extended essay A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. Right now we are just going to brief about the current point of view that the narrator takes on. Sorry for the technical difficulties about the PowerPoint, but it will be uploaded in the descriptions below. So basically the original point of view is not like a typical one, but a collective one. So it is the collective I, which consists of many characters such as the unnamed female, the I, and also the four Marys: Mary Breton, Mary Sitton, Mary Carmichael, and also Mary Hamilton. Marissa will be briefing on us about that.
So the four Marys, Mary Beaton, Mary Seton, Mary Carmichael, and the unmentioned Mary Hamilton are from the Scottish ballad, The Four Marys. And in that ballad, Mary Hamilton is sentenced to death.
So moving on, just to touch upon the recurring theme of the extended essay, feminism. This relates to the title itself, A Room of One's Own. So what Woolf is trying just to relay throughout her whole essay is basically a woman must have 500 pounds and also a room of one's own to be able to have a certain privacy to carry out her own writings. Yes, so.
Okay. So differentiation. It is mentioned that the narrator is given 500 pounds a year following her aunt's death. This makes the narrator an exception to the norm at the time. It is a common theme throughout the essay that women are plagued with poverty. Mary Seton is an example of this norm of the time. The narrator has a financial advantage over Mary Seton due to her inheritance from her aunt. This allows the narrator to question the status quo. In contrast, Mary Seton does not have the benefit of this added income and must be more realistic and accepting of her status in society as a result. This can be evidenced by the quotation, "What a change of temper a fixed income will bring about," on page 1981.
So basically, branching off of what Marissa said, right now we are going into our actual take on the different point of view. Rather than the narrator's point of view, we will be taking on Mary Sitton's point of view. Okay, so just a little background about the point of view that we will be taking upon. Mary Sitton will be representing the norm of the woman in 1910, and the narrator as a woman not of the norm of 1910. So we will be dissecting specifically two passages from the essay. So right now I will be dissecting the passage on 1965. The whole first passage basically describes about the narrator's point of view on the dinner course which is served to her on that night. Specifically, she says in the middle of page 1965, their potatoes are thin as coins, and also insulting the pudding, to call it pudding and so relate it to rice and tapioca would be an insult. So basically, she describes her dinner course as very displeasing. It doesn't really fulfill her desires, basically, of a dinner course. She even goes to the extent to voice her displeasure on page 1970, where she states, on the bottom of the first paragraph, "Here it popped out of my mouth before I could stop it, the beef, the custard, and the prunes." So basically making fun of the beef, the custard, and the prunes, which is basically the dinner that she had. She couldn't even stop herself from exclaiming this displeasure that she had during that meal. Whereas if we were to take the point of view from Mary Sitton, who is noted to be on page 1969, a friend of the narrators, if it was taken in the point of view of Mary Sitton, she probably would not have expressed her displeasure. She probably would have been very grateful for the meal rather. Taking on the norm of woman in 1910, she probably would be preoccupied with her occupation as probably a household life, not having the pleasure of actually going out to events like the narrator and be able to enjoy food. She probably would be taking care of her children and kids, also tending to her husband. So being able to be in the narrator's situation, she probably would be very grateful for actually having this time to enjoy herself and also have a meal on her own. Specifically pointing out that on page 1971, the first line, the amenities, she said, quoting from some book or other, will have to wait. This specifically ties into the norms of women in 1910, where rather than arguing with the displeasures or anything of that time, they just patiently observe and also wait and not really have much opinion about their own displeasure. So this ties in back again with the point of view that she might have had on the same dinner of the narrators. So rather than having displeasure of the dinner, she would be actually very happy to be eating such a dinner.
The quotation I will be dissecting is on page 1977, and the quotation is, "It is only human nature, I reflected, and began drawing cartwheels and circles over the angry professor's face until he looks like a burning brush or a flaming comet." The situation that this quotation is describing is basically the narrator's reaction to a professor who wrote a work basically centered around how men are supposedly superior to women, and the narrator relays this situation in a very negative, a very challenging, and also almost a mocking tone, whereas Mary Seton would respect the professor more, just not because of what she thinks of his work, whereas she would more respect him because she has to depend on a man to survive and has to accept her place in society.
So basically wrapping up, if we were to take the point of view of Mary Seton for this whole extended essay, there really wouldn't be the existence of this essay in general. Rather than having an occupation of a writer, she would be having the occupation of the typical woman of that time, which is noted on page 1981 to be that of addressing envelopes, reading to old ladies, making artificial flowers, teaching the alphabet to small children in a kindergarten. So rather being able to openly express her ideas through writing, such as that of the narrator, Mary Seton would probably be busy most of the time tending towards her own occupation or also to the household that she might have. And also a notable difference would be she would be married in the sense that most women of 1910 were married because marriage basically indicated success and also basically indicated success, whereas this is different from the narrator, who is unmarried and also has that that money that she got from bequeathed from her aunt, which is very different from obviously a norm. So rather than relying on her husband, the narrator relies on her own money. So yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to our presentation.
My name is Emily.
And my name is Marissa.
Thank you.